is Expedited Bill 38-18, Weapons, Urban Area Boundary, Public Safety Committee work session tentatively scheduled for January 17th, 2019. As always, persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on January 14th. For that, we have Tom Major, Chief Tom Major, who's not here. Mark Jones, you're going to play the part of Chief. All right. Aaron Rosenzweig, Steve Schinholzer, and John Barreto. And we will start with Assistant Chief Johnson.
Good afternoon, and congratulations to all.
Jones.
It's okay. It's okay. I've been called worse.
I know you have. I can only imagine.
We only got 3 minutes.
So, good afternoon. I am Marcus Jones, Assistant Chief, Investigative Services Bureau, and I am here to testify on behalf of County Executive Elridge in support of Bill 3818E, Weapons Urban Area Boundary. The Montgomery County Police Department is in favor of Council Bill 3818, changing the boundaries for discharging weapons in an urban area. This bill is common sense legislation as it relates to a growing population in the Burtonsville community over the past several years. Our department has been in contact with community members who are concerned for their safety as it relates to discharging weapons over the past few years. In 2018 thus far, the Montgomery County Department of Police 3rd District officers have responded to the area of Croom Road 21 times for calls for service related to the report of shootings in progress or the sounds of shots. We have initiated 3 police reports related to safety concerns of neighbors. Other law enforcement agencies have also been involved in these investigations as well. Our responses to this area have been during the day and night. Several neighbors have expressed that the shooting taking place from the area impacted and noted in the boundary changes that has regularly awakened them from their sleep. It has impacted their ability to feel safe in their own homes and on their property. During our investigations, it was determined that the area in question is outside of the designated urban area, as the law currently stands, and individuals who possess several licenses issued by the state of Maryland that allow them with certain restrictions to shoot firearms on their property, and were not violating any law associated with Montgomery County or the state of Maryland. Therefore, in the best interest of public safety for the greater Burtonsville community, we, the police department, believe the legislation presented in this bill will expand the noted boundaries to give greater comfort to the citizens who reside in the area, while also providing safety from weapon fire permitted by law. Thank you for allowing me to testify and for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, Assistant Chief Jones. Aaron Rosenzweig.
Yes, my name is Aaron Rosenzweig. Urban. Merriam-Webster defines urban as of, relating to, or constituting a city. This area is a far cry from a city and is clearly very rural in nature. I oppose this bill for a simple reason. Crum Road is a rural area by any respectable definition of the word. It would be a stretch to consider it suburban and certainly is not urban. The home rests at the end of the road on 6 acres of land. It is surrounded by dense forest and backs up to the Patuxent River. Have you ever seen a home on that much land with that much natural splendor in the heart of a city? I practice safe marksmanship at Waring Station Road in the heart of Germantown. By comparison, this is in the middle of much more suburban sprawl than Crum Road. Will you soon deem Waring Station Road to be urban too? Mr. Jeff Zients says the boundaries of the urban area have not changed in 20 years, as if to say maybe it's time to change them. That only makes sense if the area's become urban, but it has not, so please disregard his statement as being irrelevant. What Mr. Zients does say is that 21 times the police were called to investigate the sound of gunfire at Crum Road. Each and every time the police found no wrongdoing, as a homeowner is licensed to use firearms on his property. He also says shots have been heard both during the day and night. What does night mean? Was it 7 p.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning? Mr. Zients says neighbors do not feel safe. How is that substantiated? Many of us understand and move to rural areas because we want clean air, open spaces with natural forests and beauty. Is quickly realize that farms have repugnant smells, noisy animals and equipment. They then realize that their neighbors may have guns. It shocks them. They want the local government to change things just for them. It's like eminent domain, but worse, because you lose the ability to use your land, but are not compensated for it. Please consider the following methods of addressing the issue. Regulate reasonable hours for the discharge of firearms. If there's a valid reason for shooting after sunset, document it or allow special exception, but otherwise outlaw it. Moreover, the current sound levels are obviously very low. Otherwise, the impulsive noise ordinance for weapons fire would apply. Section 31B-5, noise control. 21 visits of police is wrong. It is a waste of resources and facilitates abuse of power and process. If a citizen phones the same complaint more than 3 times, please fine them for subsequent calls. Institute a cry wolf law. There was no need to expedite this bill, as there is no safety issue, not even enforceable noise control issue. It is a slippery slope to call a rural area urban because you think it is convenient. Don't do it. Don't take away freedoms unless there is a darn good reason to do so. On the back, I have pictures of the area in hand. You can see it's a very wooded area. And this is also where I practice my marksmanship. It's definitely not urban. And at the bottom, I list the noise control ordinance we currently have, which seems like it should have applied. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Steve Shinholzer?
Hello, my name is Steve Shinholzer, and I got to tell you, I'm nervous as hell right now. Congratulations to those of you who got elected, but I'm here to just tell you the nightmare that I'm living. I live 2 houses away from Ron, 16030, this place we're talking about here. He fires his guns 24/7. 4 nights ago, 3 a.m. 2 nights ago, 2 a.m. 4 o'clock the other night, 4:30 the other night. He blasts his guns, single shot, multiple shot, assault weapons. I counted one time in 30 minutes, I'm shaking here, 600 rounds. We live on a road with over 35 houses. We have kids. They ride their bikes. They walk to school. They play on our roads. It's not a big old horse farm. We have a house between me and Ron, and they have little kids that walk to school every day. When I walk to my mailbox or out the back of my property where I get to hike on the WSSC fire trail, he has cameras that shoot down the road and see what everybody's doing. He starts to fire his guns as soon as he sees me, my friends, my dogs, to intimidate us. You try to walk past his house, and he will come out and greet you, intimidate you, holding a rifle, threatening you. I've had hiking buddies for 5-6 years. We go down the end of the road there, and we hike on the fire trail, and he confronts us and screams at us. And we hop over the fence and run. He thinks he's a keeper of the WSSC land. And then on our way back, he sees us coming down the fire trail. He starts firing his gun. I'm not telling you he's firing his gun at us, but he's blasting in the air. My buddies will not even come hiking with me anymore. They won't come over to the house. Kids ride some motorcycles every so often, dirt bikes. He thinks I'm the leader of them, like I organize them. One day when I walk my dog to the mailbox, he comes running up the field across from me at 8 a.m. in the morning, screaming at me about how could I do that to him? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, that noise. I'm like, Ron, that's a dog barking over there. He goes, no, it's not. You hired someone to bark like a dog to ruin my life. He's also told me, my wife, some of the neighbors, that at night, and he says this repeatedly, he thinks we go in the back of his house and make animal noises to scare he and his wife. And he says, well, if it's not you, it's your kids. He drove his dump truck and blocked the road, so my kid, 23 years old, just got out of Virginia Tech, couldn't even leave the road, and he comes out and accosts him and accuses him and his sisters, who live thousands of miles away, of making animal noises. I'm 61. I'm going into thy golden years, and I'm living a freaking nightmare. He could sit here and tell you it's not rural, but I'm telling you, me, my family, everybody on the road, we're scared to death. I am afraid after this hearing, that man's coming to my house and shooting me today. This is not crazy. If it doesn't get fixed, I gotta move. I gotta sell my house. Who the hell wants to buy my house? Would you buy my house to find out this crazy man that shoots guns 24/7 lives there? This is real.
Thank you, Mr. Shinholzer. Thank you so much for being here. Ms. John Barreto?
Hi there. My name's John Barreto.
Sorry, can you please turn off your lights, those two? Thank you.
My name's John Barreto. I live at 16000 Crum Road in Burtonsville, Maryland. I'm Steve's neighbor, and I live 3 doors down from the property that is in question today. Thank you to the council for allowing us to speak. This morning, I was awakened by gunfire at 4 a.m. Actually, literally, it was 4:04 when I woke up because of the shots that were out of my window. Couldn't get back to sleep. Went out to walk my dog before work this morning, and at 9 a.m., rapid gunfire all morning until I had to leave to go to work to come to this hearing today. My testimony here, I'm here to testify in favor of changing the urban area boundaries due to the dangerous conditions and the settlement of new families. I'm concerned about the gunfire that takes place recklessly at 16030 Crum Road. I believe as a result of the random shooting on our street and in close proximity to our homes, many lives are in danger, to include families with children and pets. In addition, the property owner that does this shooting has made threats of possible harm due to his ability to freely discharge weapons incessantly. I moved to Crum Road at the end of May 2017. Since that time, I've tried to meet the majority of my neighbors in person. Our neighbor at 16030 has been very alarming. First, to address the gunfire. In the last year, the shooting has taken place at all hours of day and night, daily. The number of rounds being discharged are in such high numbers and rapid succession that they're impossible to count. The gunfire takes place at all hours. Many times he's awakened me from my sleep, as well as kept me from falling asleep. I can hear ammunition bursts at midnight, at 2 a.m., or at 6 a.m. They can also be heard around dinner time. My encounters with this particular neighbor has taken place along Crum Road between my property and his, usually taking my dog for a walk. Based on our conversations, apparently he has cameras mounted where he monitors activity. It seems quite odd to me that when I walk my dog down the road, he walks out towards me, on some occasions holding his rifle in his arms. For example, the most recent encounter with him took place this past Friday, where he became angry and agitated that I was walking my dog to the WSSC property, the path where our Crum Road ends. He began yelling at me in a very loud and angry voice using expletives. Sometimes he stated during, some of the things that he stated during this rant, I've noted for you. I hunt and kill everything I see. F my neighbors, I'm zoned agricultural. F the police, I don't want to have an accident, so on and so forth. As a result of my direct exposure to the dangerous circumstances on a daily basis, I'm hoping that our county council will consider moving the urban area boundary further away from our homes towards the property line so that 16030 Crum Road will not be allowed to discharge weapons. I believe it would be irresponsible not to do so. The continued use of firearms in our neighborhood could result in bodily harm in the very near future, so it needs to be prevented now. Many times the police have been called for, due to fear, and unfortunately, upon their arrival, they state there's nothing they can do to keep the neighbor from discharging the weapons.
Thank you, Mr. Barreto. We do have one light on, if you hold on for a second. Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you for your testimony, everybody. Just two quick questions. Chief, no laws being broken in your estimation, the 21 plus times that you've reported out?
That is correct. Yes, based on the boundaries themselves, the way the current laws state, and as well as state laws, there are no laws that were violated.
Let me be more specific. I mean, some of these seem like threats, battery assault. I don't know if you've investigated these individual claims that were made here today. Is that part of what you've done when folks have come out?
We were dealing primarily to the weapons discharging, not as towards any threats from that aspect.
And to the homeowners on Crum Road, and sir, just to be clear, you do not live on Crum Road. Okay, you're just here as a general policy matter?
I just saw the overview and I didn't have any of this other background either.
Got it. And I've knocked Mr. Crum's door, actually. Have you spoken to him and his wife about this? I know they're further up the street. How do they feel?
Can you please turn on the microphone? And I also do want to remind us that there will be a public safety session in January, so that's
my last
would be
question.
more appropriate. But if you can push the button, and then answer the question. Last question.
Well, Steve may have more firsthand knowledge, but as far as the Crums are concerned, they have a business where they have people who ride their horses, and the horse people, they ride past my home down the easement to the WSSC property. And those people on horses, at times, they've stated that they are scared, and they've even turned around where they're allowed to legally access that area to go down to the trails.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on to the next.
Would you like me to answer or read?
If you have an answer.
Well, yeah, I've talked to them many, many times. So has my wife. And when you talk to Ron, it's not a conversation like two people have. He's like off in his own world. He will not converse with you. She does nothing She just stands there in total silence. In fact, if you have this conversation, which he did the other day, she'll start just videotaping you and her. So it's not like you can make any rational conversation with him. And it's just.
Okay, we're going to
great.
wrap up this particular public hearing, and then we'll definitely have more opportunities. And if there are any additional information, you can also submit it to the council. Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to item number 7. This is a public hearing on expedited bill